Hello and welcome. Hopefully you can hear me over the wind and the grain dryer over there running. It's absolutely obnoxious sometimes when the wind is blowing our way. I was out here checking on our greenhouse, doing some damage control. We had about 70+ mile-an-hour winds ripping across this. Thankfully, we had our ring of trees to protect us, and greenhouse placement is absolutely everything. We have pretty well 360-degree coverage on this greenhouse. Where we don't have the cover right now, we're creating guilds with our fruit and berries. So I wanted to talk a little bit about greenhouse placement. I want to run in here. We're about 27 degrees today, and my gloves are inside, so I am frozen right now. I just wanted to show that our greenhouse is still standing and there's no structural damage. It is absolutely freezing out there. We've got 27 outside, sitting about 52 degrees inside here. Got our little fan running, kind of help with some of our condensation. Now that we're in the warm greenhouse, I want to talk about some of the factors affecting greenhouse placement. Light is always a factor. If you have winter, you want your greenhouse facing the south with the most surface area facing the south in order to get the best heat retention and heat conservation and building during the daytime. And like us, if you have wind and high wind at that, you want some serious protection from that wind. You can build a giant berm and a hedge with hedgerows, or you can use any type of trees or shrubs to just break that wind up to protect your greenhouse from full gale forces blowing in on it. Another factor affecting greenhouse placement is foundation. If you have a solid panel greenhouse, you obviously have to have at least gravel or brick or some type of sand to level out the area, or else it will not work. And then you have to be able to anchor it. Anchoring is key with a solid panel greenhouse. This hoop house style greenhouse, it is 52 feet long and it is very heavy. We have cattle panels, we have huge baseboards, so this thing's not really going anywhere. It's structurally sound, and that is kind of why I built it this way. It's like a fortress, and once we get our second layer of poly on, we will have even that much more insulation. The wind and the snow have hindered us from putting our second layer on. Hopefully we can get to it in the next couple days here as things are drying out. We had snow sitting on our second layer, and I didn't want to seal all of that moisture in there. One more quick factor affecting your greenhouse placement is tree roots. Your tree roots will come right inside, and it can prevent you from building a greenhouse in a certain area, or they can tap right in and start to draw nutrients and create problems in the greenhouse, or possibly mess up your foundation. So I just wanted to touch on those things just for an idea and a reference for when you're putting a new greenhouse up, because we're going to be placing a few greenhouses on this property, some solid panel, and I'm going to build another cattle panel greenhouse because I have a whole bunch of pallets I've been saving up that I've been acquiring for free that I can use for the walls of that greenhouse, and I may bury it a little bit to get some geothermal insulation without having to do any extra work throughout the winter. So all that being said, I'm always talking about solar power. We have our solar powered heating box. I have this incense. Don't tell my wife I took her incense. I'm going to show what kind of flow we're getting on a decently sunny day. We have clouds coming through and thin cloud cover, but we're still getting some good solar activity. So we have our heat drawing from this hose right at the top of this box, drawing air through the entire thing, heating it up from the rocks, and the passive energy that's created and turned to heat inside this box. We're drawing it through the floor all the way down to the other side with our 10-watt solar fan. All right, I don't know how well you can see that, but it is pulling that smoke right down the tube. It is drawing all of that heat from the top of our solar box, all thermally, passively heating our floor, drawing it down to the solar fan and blowing it up and drying our air at the same time as it's heating everything in this greenhouse. This autonomous greenhouse heater works perfectly just like I want it to. It's heating our air and drying it, passively heating for free. No energy is put into this. We had to buy our fan one time. We don't have to pay an electric bill to passively heat when there's not that much sunlight. It's still a couple degrees warmer than the inside temperatures of our greenhouse. Heading on over, we have all of our sprouts down here just sitting up. We're going to be plugging these throughout all of the empty spaces in our greenhouse in order to prevent heat loss to the airspace, and in order to prevent moisture loss to the airspace also. We're having all the condensation, so we want to kind of prevent that by covering all of the dirt that we possibly can with plants to hold that moisture down in the soil level. So once again, I'll be bringing an update once we get this second layer of poly complete on this greenhouse. I really need to get it done. It's crunch time because the weather's setting in. I'm gonna have to wait for the least windy day possible. We're gonna have to get this covered. We are running out of time. I just want to say thank you to everybody watching these videos, and if you have any questions, you know where to drop them in the comment section below. We will get right back to you. I really enjoy sharing all this content and experimenting and learning myself, and sharing with my children and sharing with all of you guys, and growing all of our own healthy food, because the food prices at the store is absolutely ridiculous. We can come out here and pick a couple leaves from every plant we got and make a massive salad, and it has protein, it has a diversity of minerals and nutrients. It's not just one lettuce crop or one crop or the other. We're getting a good diversified bountiful harvest out of this greenhouse pretty frequently, and I think we can do even better once we get even more spaces filled and more sprouts to come up. Just want to show all the red beets coming up before I let everybody go here. We've got a ton of little red beets coming up, and those took about a week and a half to sprout. We were worried that we weren't going to get a good germination, but they all decided to come up for us. Just took a little bit longer with the cold temperatures here. So stay tuned for an update on this greenhouse. We are always posting updates as we're always experimenting between our little greenhouse and our large one here. So I should bring an update within the next week or two once we get this greenhouse completely finished on the outside.